everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year 2026. Here we go. How are you doing? So excited for this new year. Truly, very excited for this new year because I know a lot of things are going to happen this year. Things I planned, things I didn't plan, things that I just know are for my good. Honestly, I know a lot of things are going to happen this year. How are you doing? How is the year for you so far? How's the year for you so far? Hmm. So far, my year is good. My year is good. I can say that confidently. And it will continue to be good. That does not mean that there won't be any issue at all. It doesn't mean that maybe one challenge or the other will not pop up, but challenges and such does not mean that my year will not be good. It doesn't. That's not what determines if my year will be good. So my year is going to be good. I am so excited. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to send, yeah, a message out that we are live. Okay, so I'm going to also confirm. Okay, so Instagram is live and active. Let me check Facebook. All right, Facebook is live. Um, okay, the value seems good. Okay, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, yeah. All right. This is what I don't want. Okay, we're live everywhere we should be live. So awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, we are live on YouTube. Okay. So I was saying Happy New Year. How has your year been so far? It looks like the year is just starting. Which one is how has my year been so far? But how has your year been? Really? How has it been so far? Are you seeing signs that it's going to be an awesome year? Are you confident that this year is going to be an awesome year? I am confident. I know it. I know it. I know it for a fact. I am confident that this year is going to be a good year. Remember, as I said, that does not mean there might not be some challenges along the way. Why is my phone doing like this? All right. It doesn't mean there will definitely be challenges, not maybe. This is for sure. For sure, there are going to be challenges along the way. Definitely, there are challenges. But I know one thing for sure, I will overcome every challenge. It doesn't matter what the challenge is, I will surely overcome. So, welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. I can see you on Instagram, shop.chelsea. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Someone is on Facebook, but I don't know who you are. Please do let me know who you are. Just say hello, say where you're joining me from so that I can see you. So, we are starting a new series in this month of January. We enjoyed the series we did um, October, November, December, actually, the 3 months. It was So interesting. We had a lot of aha moments in those sessions. Um, and this, what we're going to be talking about in January, is it's connected. Let me put it that way. It's connected. It's connected. We start with in October, we talked about habits of excellence, and we looked at raising your standards daily, learning that growth begins with what you consistently tolerate and what you consistently uphold. That was what we generally talked about in October. And in the month of November, we looked at habits of gratitude, that is unlocking joy, abundance by shifting our perspective. Not necessarily that the situation has changed, but by shifting our perspective and then anchoring our growth, our life on gratitude, on appreciation, and not on lack. That was what we looked at in the month of November. And then in December, we looked at habits of vision, and we prepared for the year, this year that we're already in. We prepared for it in December by gaining clarity, gaining direction, and focusing on what truly matters. Now, each month from October, November, December, we laid a foundation. If you listen, if you look at the topics and what they basically taught, we knew that, or we found out that excellence shapes how you show up. Excellence shapes how you show up. Gratitude shapes how we see, shapes how we see. And then vision shapes where we are going. That was what we looked at in the last quarter of last year. Now, in this January, we are going in a direction that asks us the question, how do we move forward? We have, put the foundation. We have tried to be excellent people of excellence. We've tried to be people that are grateful always. How do we move forward consistently? And doing this without burning out, without fading out. That is what we are looking at today. Our topic today is why motivation fails and what actually drives progress. Because let's be honest, we're all motivated 1st of January. Some of us remain motivated even to the end of January. Some. But along the line, motivation fails. Truly, we all our New Year's resolutions, we don't carry them out to the very end. We're so excited at the beginning, but along the line, we get tired. We get tired. So we're going to look at, excuse me, we're going to look at how do we keep moving forward consistently? How do we maintain that momentum that we have started with? How do we keep it? So for the whole of this month, we're going to be talking about rebuilding my momentum, rebuilding that momentum. That's what the whole of January is going to be looking at. That's what the whole month of January we're going to be considering. Because, like I said, we all start strong. I don't know who does not start strong. All of us, basically, we start off strong, but we fade fast. And this includes me talking. We fade fast, but we need to be able to maintain the momentum that we start with. We need to find a way that we can move beyond just motivation. We can move beyond the feelings and actually have sustained progress. Sustained progress. So we're going to look at, of course, why motivation fails. We're going to look at how we can really have that sustained progress, the habits that we can imbibe that will help us. Now, I just want to look at a few. Oh, Martha Asuzu, I see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me today. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. It's been a while. How are you? How is everything with you? Okay, so I'm going to look at a few research that's been done because I try my best whenever I do my sessions to base it on research and not just this is what I think or this is what I heard per se, but this is research that has been carried out. So you can also go and check, you can confirm. So there are a couple of things that I found when I was studying this. One is that there was a study that was done, and okay, let me first define motivation before I'm going so fast. I've moved ahead of myself. Let me just look what is actually this motivation we are talking about, because a lot of the research that I'm going to tell us about talks about motivation. So motivation is that temporary emotional drive, that burst of energy that we get that triggers us to move. It's normally it's a desire, it's triggered by desire, inspiration, but it's that burst of energy, that initial burst of energy that we get that gets us going, gets us in motion. But generally it doesn't last because it's based on feelings, and we know feelings, they fluctuate. They fluctuate with our mood, they fluctuate with the environment we are in, they fluctuate with stress. So that is motivation. And some of the research that I found bordering on motivation is that one, this I found that researchers have found that motivation is tied to emotion, strongly tied to our emotions, which means that it can disappear when the circumstances change, when the situation changes. Motivation disappears because it is tied to our emotions. Generally, if there's no structure to support motivation, it fizzles out. It drops off, and if we don't catch it in time, it completely fizzles out. Completely fizzles out. So um that is the first thing. That is the V's diary. Thank you for joining me on Instagram. I can see you. Happy New Year. Welcome to Growth Habits with Ngozi. So that is the first thing that researchers have found out. And I don't even think we need researchers to tell us that one, because it is obvious. Motivation is tied to our emotions. And that is why it's not sustainable generally. Another thing is that there was a study, I think yes, Harvard Business Review. I just had to check quickly where I saw it. Harvard Business Review. And it showed that individuals that have a structured system, that have routines, um, that have external accountability, they are more consistent than those that rely on motivation alone. Because once again, motivation is based on our feelings. It's strongly tied to our feelings. Let me not just say based, strongly tied to our feelings. So this study by Harvard Business Review emphasized the fact that motivation initiates a behavior, but it is the structures that you put in place, the habits that you imbibe, that will sustain that behavior. So we do need motivation. It's not as if we don't need it. We need it to start, because that is what gingers us. That is what gets us motivated. I don't want to use motivate to define motivate. Is what gets us going. Motivation is what gets us going. Is that initial push. So we do need it. We need it, but there has to be systems behind it. There has to be habits behind it. This third study that I saw, well, this one is from Atomic Habits, the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he says that habits tied to identity are stronger and more lasting. So it's not tied to your feelings, but tied to your identity. In that Atomic Habits, there's a quote that says the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. When it becomes part of your identity. So we see that motivation is good because that is what gets you started. But systems are what is going to keep you moving, keep you going along. All right. So why is it that motivation fails most times? What are the factors that affect motivation that make it fail. One is that it's mood dependent. It depends on your emotions. It rises and it falls with your emotions. So that is, I think that's even the, well, I don't want to say most important, but key is the key reason why motivation fails. It is mood dependent. If I'm feeling down in my emotions, there is no motivation to do anything at that time. It takes discipline now for me to still do what I need to do, not motivation any longer. Because my emotions are down, motivation also goes down. So it is mood dependent. Motivation also is outcome focused. It spikes when we have good results, and when we don't, it goes down. It's outcome focused. Not even, it's not looking at, oh, I'm making progress. No. Motivation is outcome focused. It focuses on results. So when we have good results, our motivation spikes. Now, that's why we tell ourselves to celebrate small wins, because it helps build motivation, helps build momentum. Another thing is that reason why motivation fails is that it is temporary. It's not built to last. It's not actually made to be something that is lasting. It's built to spark. It's something that sparks ingenuity, sparks focus, sparks action on your side. Welcome, Coach Ify. I can see you on Instagram. Thank you for joining me. So, because it is temporary, it fails. It was not even, motivation is not meant really by virtue of how it is, because it is mood dependent. It's not meant to last forever. The next thing is that it has inconsistent cues. Motivation fluctuates with context, fluctuates with circumstances. So that is why it fails. And then when the value perception of something changes, so does motivation. When I think something is not as valuable any longer, I'm no longer motivated to do it. So there are value shifts in motivation. There are value shifts in motivation, and that is why it fails. Um, this uh, from I'm even thinking about all these things I'm saying, and I see that the backbone of all of them is emotions. Is emotions. Motivation is basically tied to our emotions. They're basically tied to our emotions, and it ensures that how we feel trumps actually what is the reality a lot of times. Now, this is not saying that our feelings are not valid. Our feelings are valid. Our emotions are valid. But a lot of times, our emotions do not truly reflect truth. It might reflect the reality on ground at that moment, but it does not reflect truth. Because it's not all the time that the reality on ground now is actually the whole story. So, this is why motivation fails most times. This is one of the biggest reasons why motivations fail. It is emotion based, it is based on our mood, and it celebrates emotions over structure. It's based on how we feel. And because of that, it falls apart so easily, so quickly, because our feelings fluctuate. They're allowed to fluctuate, they have to fluctuate. All right, so now that we have seen why motivation fails, what actually drives progress? What is it that can help us make progress? Since we have known that motivation will fail us, we will not always be motivated. There will be times that we are not motivated. What actually helps us make progress and keep making progress? And the systems. basically systems. Now, system is a set of repeatable structures or routines that produce consistent results. That is a system. It's a structure you put in place, it's a routine that you put in place that produces consistent results. That is a system. And so when the thing that trumps motivation every time are systems. Systems. So to establish these systems, one, you need to start small. You must start small. Begin with tiny routines, things that are easy to repeat. I think part of even what deals us the blow to our goals, to our New Year's resolutions, whatever you want to call it, to the plans that we have, is that we take up too much at once. This is not trying to make us think small, as in, don't dream big dreams. Dream big dreams, have the big dreams, but start small. Begin with routines that are easy to repeat. Begin with routines that you can, of course, replicate easily, but that will also give you quick wins. And as you begin with those small, in quotes, tiny routines, they build up, they compound into the bigger dream that you're trying to achieve. So always start small. Begin with the tiny routines. Then embed these things into your environment. Embed them into your environment. Shape your space. Shape your space to support your habits. I think we talked about this when we in December, either last week or week before. But embed that routine, that system you're trying to build, embed it into your environment. Shape your space to support your habit. For example, now you want to, I don't know why I always default to exercise, but I think it's the easiest one to use as an example. You want to form a habit of living healthy, exercising daily. Lay out your workout gear in the night, not in the morning. You want to go for a walk in the morning, or you want to go to the gym in the morning, set up your clothes in the night. Lay it out where you can see it. Precious, I can see you on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. Happy New Year to you. So embed those habits you're trying to, those routines you're trying to establish, embed them into your environment. You want to read your Bible more. Let's assume that's the habit you're trying to form. Keep your Bible like by your bedside where you will see it in the morning. If you're using the phone, set an alarm. Embed it into your environment. Shape that space to support your habit, whatever habit you're trying to form. Let it form part of your environment. Let it form part of your daily actions, activities, whatever you're doing. So find a way to embed the systems, the routines you're trying to establish into your environment. Then track consistently. Track. Use simple trackers. You don't have to begin to have any complicated system of tracking. A simple Excel spreadsheet works. Simple on your notes on your phone. Do a list of what I'm trying to achieve. Or use the apps. There are apps that can help people track consistently. When you track consistently, it helps you even to see when you are straying, and then scale slowly. Scale slowly. Build up gradually. Once the small routines are becoming consistent, remember you started with small routines. Once they are becoming consistently, add to them, but add gradually. Don't add too much all at once. I always remember a company I worked with, not for now, with um, some time back, and I saw they were doing well, but I saw they were just expanding too fast. So I called the CEO then and I told him, I mean, I love that you're doing all these things. I love that you're taking this business to the next level. I'm seeing that you're expanding too fast. You need to slow down the scale of your expansion because at the rate you're expanding, you will encounter some problems in the future. You're going to encounter problems of control and being able to sustain this level of growth. He didn't believe me. He didn't. And he continued. Now, okay, let me not say now, some maybe, let me say 1 year after this discussion, he began to see what I meant. He began to see that he truly expanded too fast. He began to see that there are so many things that are now somehow out of his control, whether that is even a way to put it. He couldn't hold it all together because too many things were happening all at the same time. He didn't have enough staff to take care of it, competent staff. Let me not even say enough staff. He didn't have enough competent staff to sustain the growth. But if he had scaled slowly, if he had built up gradually, adding a little at a time, he would be able to develop the structure to support this growth. The same goes for our personal lives. When you're trying to achieve things, you have goals you're trying to, achieve, you need to not just start small, scale slowly. This does not mean in any way that you're going backwards or you're not advancing as you should, but make sure that you have the systems to support will I say, the next level that you're trying to get to. Ensure that the systems are already on ground before you expand. So scale slowly. Scale slowly. It is so important, scaling slowly. Very, very important. So these are um, some of the things that actually drive progress. I said the number one is systems, and I've given us some things that help us establish our system, the things that will help our system or the routines that we are bringing in be more sustainable. And I have a mnemonic for that. If you paid attention, you would have seen it. Sets, SETS. Start small, embed it into your environment, track consistently, and scale slowly. SETS. That is what is going to make your system sustainable and ensure to a large extent that you produce consistent results. Another thing that will help you make progress when motivation is fading is identity. Identity. So you have your systems, establish your systems, but your identity is something that will help you. It will definitely trump motivation. And in um, in figuring out this identity, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. One is, who am I becoming? Okay, let me say one question really, because it's not a couple of questions. Actually, one question. You have to ask yourself, who am I becoming? And not what do I want to do or what do I want to achieve? You need to ask yourself, who am I becoming? In trying to get to this goal that I have set for myself, in trying to get to this zenith that I have set that I want to get to, in trying to achieve these things that I want to achieve in this year, who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? This actually helps you remain more consistent in achieving those goals more than just this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve. So identity is very important. Is one thing. Another thing, let me not just say, another thing that will help you sustain progress. Figure out, understand who you are becoming. who you are becoming. To do this, to help you in this issue of identity, one, use affirmations. Use affirmations. They are they are so important and they are key. I know, I'm why I'm having these pauses as I'm talking about affirmation, because I know that some people are like, we have been hearing this affirmation every day. But let me tell you, it does work. Affirmations. Say to yourself, as you're looking at the goals you want to achieve, as you're looking at the things you want to achieve in this year, I am the type of person who, depending on what you're now trying to achieve, is what you add at the end there. Don't just say, I want to do this or I want to achieve this. Affirm by saying, I am the type of person who lives healthy. I am the type of person who, what else? Invests wisely. I am the type of person who runs multi-million dollar company. I am the type of person who has financial intelligence. I mean, there's so many things. There's so many things we can put in there. So use affirmations and say it in that way. Don't just say it, you know, I'm sure we understand what I'm trying to say. I hope so. But use affirmations and say, I'm the type of person who, you know, add whatever it is you're trying to do. Kelechi, I can see you on Facebook. Thank you for joining me. Good afternoon to you also. Then also make use of internalizations. Of course, link your habits to who you are, not to what you have achieved. Internalize these habits, let them become who you are. These habits that you're trying to, you know, imbibe, that you're trying to take up to help you achieve the things you want to achieve in life, link them to who you are, not just to what you want to achieve. Then mindset repetition. Reinforce your identity with daily reminders. Daily reminders. There are things I say, and I'm not saying them to brag. I'm not saying them for any other reason, except that I'm trying to reinforce them in my own mind. When I'm sure you might have heard me say this severally when I said I am a son. Now, I don't just say that because I'm trying to prove to anybody anything. When I started, I was saying it so that I can believe it. I didn't quite believe it initially, so I would say it over and over to myself until I believed it. So mindset repetition is reinforcing that your identity, reinforcing who you want to become, yeah, who you want to become with daily reminders, daily reflection on it. Even if it's just, I remember I've told us the story of a place I worked and I was feeling like, my brain was no longer working. And I would say to myself aloud, Ngozi, your brain is working. And people laughed at me initially. They were like, is this woman okay? But that was me reinforcing to myself this truth. So reinforce your identity with daily reminders, mindset repetition. Very important. It helps. Um, there's one I heard recently. I heard somebody said, I am someone who honors rest. I'm like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? She said, well, instead of telling herself that she needs to rest today, she tells herself, I am someone who honors rest. Think about that. When you see yourself as someone who honors rest, rest is no longer, um, will I say, it's no longer a big deal. It becomes a part of who you are. But you have to keep telling yourself that you are someone who honors rest. Initially, you won't believe it. Initially, it will not be true for you. But you keep telling yourself, and in time, your mind, your brain, everything about you begins to conform to that. So, to help with identity shifts, affirm, affirmations, internalizations, and mindset repetition. These are the things that will help us. Um, we're looking at the ways we can still make progress. We're looking at the things that actually drive progress. We have said systems. The next was identity shifts, and the next thing is accountability. Accountability. We are truly, as human beings, we are truly shaped by who and what we surround ourselves with. We are truly shaped by who and what we surround ourselves with. So it's essential if we want to have sustained progress to have accountability and to also surround ourselves, embed ourselves in the right environment. But one, choose wisely. To do this, choose the partner, um, your accountability partner. Choose wisely. Choose someone who reflects that habit that you're trying to imbibe, that habit that you want. Choose someone that reflects it to be your accountability partner. Your accountability partner can be a colleague, can be a friend, can be family, can be your mentor, as long as the person will truly hold you accountable, because that's what you're looking for, true accountability. So choose wisely. Choose that person that reflects that habit that you're trying to imbibe. If the person does not reflect that habit, they might not be able to hold you very accountable to it. And not only that, wouldn't, normally there's something happens when you associate with someone, you begin to pick up on the person's habits and the person's mannerisms and things like that. So if you partner with someone that does not reflect the habits you want, you might wind up picking up the habits the person already has, and that is not what you want. That's not what you're aiming for. So that's why it's important to choose wisely. Two, log your progress publicly. When I say publicly, share updates. I don't mean on Facebook now. I don't mean that you must share, updates on Facebook, but log your progress publicly with the accountability partner. Share updates with the person. Let them know how you're doing. Tell them how your week went. Tell them the things you did well. Tell them the things you didn't do well. So share updates. Even the small ones that look irrelevant, share updates and share them publicly with your accountability partner. With your accountability partner. Then use check-ins. Have set times that you check in. Don't just, because now I've said share updates. Don't just do it haphazardly. Have weekly, daily, however, check-ins, because this is what is going to build your momentum. It's what is going to even help also increase your motivation when it begins to wane. Once you're checking in, I'm sure I've told us this story severally of when I was in the inner circle, and we have books we have to read, and once you read the book you have to write like a report. What did you learn specifically, not just what the book is talking about, but what did you learn specifically? What are you going to practice from what you learned? Every quarter we had a book. I think sometimes it was even every month, but anyway. Now, I shared here that I had one. Normally, I read my books when I'm supposed to, but one particular time I was too many things. So I didn't read as I was meant to. And when I saw the deadline for the check-in, when I need to go and submit my report, when I need to, I pulled an all-nighter. I read the book throughout the night. I read the book throughout the night so that I will have something to report the next day. So check-ins, see, you can see that I gingered myself when I remember that I have to report. So use check-ins, they help. Then encourage, don't shame. Support your progress. Celebrate your progress, but don't focus on perfection. Don't focus on perfection. Encourage yourself. Also ensure that whoever is your accountability partner is someone that encourages, that supports progress, and does not insist on perfection. With these four things, um, when you have these four things in place, then your accountability and your environment will work towards helping you achieve your goals, will work towards helping you make progress. There's a mnemonic for this accountability and environment, and it's clue. CLUE. C, choose wisely. L, log progress publicly. U, use check ins. And E, encourage, don't shame. If we can apply these things, remember we said there are three things. We said that there are three things that will actually help us drive progress. One is systems, two is identity, and three is accountability. If you can establish these three things, I believe that in this year you will achieve so much. You will achieve so much. It will be noticeable. You will achieve a lot. Let me just say a few things as I conclude. One is that motivation is emotional. Just know it. Know this. It is emotional. But obedience is discipline. And when I say obedience, obedience is keeping to the things that you have said you would do, maintaining the systems, the habits. That is what keeps you. That is what sustains the progress. Motivation is emotional. It's emotional. It goes up, it goes down. When you even know this and understand this, you get through the seasons of the ups and downs, but ensure that you are doing the necessary things. You have the systems, you are working on your identity, you're making sure that you have accountability. Okay. Another thing that another thing I want to say is that this growth that we have been talking about for years now is not an impulse. So it doesn't work on impulse. It has to be an intentional practice. For you to grow daily, it has to be an intentional practice. You have to wake up every day and make up your mind that you're going to do what needs to be done. Simple. There's really no other way. I mean, not that I know yet. Maybe if I discover another way, I'll let us know. And we also need to understand and know that consistency always trumps the quick bursts. Always. Always. God honors our steady efforts. He doesn't honor just our big beginnings. And this also goes for whatever it is we're doing, even if you're not a Christian, you don't believe in God, you don't have time for all this God talk, no problem. When you do things, when you put in steady, consistent effort, it will always trump, the big beginning that fizzles out somewhere in the middle. So consistent, steady efforts. Okay, so quick recap on what we looked at today. Why does motivation fail? Because it's mood based, it's outcome focused, it's temporary, it's inconsistent, it's emotional, it's based on our emotions. These are why motivation fails. What are the things that we can now do to sustain our progress? One is systems. Start small, make sure they're embedded into your environment, track it, and scale slowly. The next thing is our identity. Ensure that our habits are based on our identity. Let identity drive the habits that we're trying to imbibe. Affirm, a way to make sure that works. Affirm, internalize mindset. This is important, honestly. See this identity part. I'm tempted to go back and look at it more, but this identity is so key. If you can sort out this aspect of your identity, letting your habits align to your identity, the systems actually come to you easier. The things that you will do actually come to you easier. Then accountability. We said accountability works. Choose wisely, log in, use check-in, log your progress, use check-in, encourage. Don't look for perfection, but look for progress. If we can do these things, if we can do these things, we will overcome this normal thing that happens that we start off so strong early in January and then we fall off along the way. We'll find that by ending of January, we're still moving strong. February, we're still there. March, April, we are still moving. We are still making progress, no matter how small the progress is. The important thing is that this progress compounds. As you keep making the small progress, it compounds. So, as is my practice, I ask, what system will you embed this week? What, what identity shift will support that system that you want to embed this week? And who will you check in with for accountability? Ask yourself these reflection questions and get ready for our next session, which is going to be talking about the habit of showing up when you feel you are behind. Being able to still show up even when you feel that you are behind. With that, I bring this today's session to a close. One day we'll be able to get these sessions down to 30 minutes. We are trying. One day we'll be able to get them down to 30 minutes. But meanwhile, thank you all so much for joining me today on this session. Happy New Year once again to everyone. I want to believe that we're already taking off on a good note. We're already, moving with speed, in quotes, through this year. When I say speed, it doesn't mean fast per se, but we are moving consistently. We are moving without too much drag in this year already. I want to believe that we are making quick and good progress through this year. Don't allow anybody to, make you feel you're not doing enough. As long as you're putting in that little effort every day, you're making progress and you're doing enough. Thank you all once again for joining me on Growth Habits with Ngozi. Remember that I'm your personal guide on the journey of growth. Do not forget to share this with someone. Follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere. YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because you can get all our videos there, past, present, and of course, the future ones will also be there. We know that Facebook deletes the videos after a while, but if you follow our, subscribe to our YouTube page, excuse me, sorry. If you subscribe to our YouTube page, you will have all the videos, everything from day one. They are all there. Yeah, and tell someone about this. Share this video with someone that needs it. Share all our channels, our social media channels with someone that needs it, and prepare. Be ready for our next session coming up Tuesday, right here on Growth Habits. Time is 1 p.m. Nigerian time. Thank you all so much for joining me, and do have an awesome day. Bye.